Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is the horoscope for Capricorn. If Capricorn is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so our card tonight, Capricorn, is the Knight of Wands. Okay, and let's go ahead and we'll knock, knock, knock. And we will take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say over here. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay, so we have the number 7 right at the center there. So lucky number 7. Having a lucky week, it looks like. And now, I just like to mention sometimes, I don't mention it always in the readings, but these are timeless readings. I do not put dates on them because they do not pertain to a certain period of time. When you watch them, they become activated, okay? So if you're watching this the day after I film it, or if you are watching it 6 months from now, it is still valid. You'll find it when you need it, and it will find you when you need it. All right. Okay, so we have this lovely ram. Look at this one. Oh, it is so confident. It is powerful. You can see that big chest puffed out. You can see the head here. Here's the nose, the eyes, the horns up here. Okay, very, very strong. Very strong. So this makes sense with that wand energy. There is a confidence in your movements. Okay, the decisions that you are making, how you are choosing to move throughout your life, your relationships, your work, your household, how, the inner workings of self, spiritual aspects, emotional aspects, all of these things seem to really kind of be at a place of balance, right? But I do think, and this is very much with that Knight of Wands energy, there is a deep channel of wanting to improve, okay? No matter how perfect things might be, or the goals that you have set out to reach and you reach them, a Capricorn person never is fulfilled by where they have gotten. Now, are you grateful? Yes, of course. Do you have a lot of respect for the path that you have been on, the things that have had to come together for you to be where you're at? Yeah, I think you're very intentional about how you kind of, express your gratitude, your belovedness for self, for the work that you have put on, for all of the, or put in, for all of the people who are around you, who you have worked together with to make things happen within your life. But there's never a taming of the fire. There is always this very distinct kind of, consciousness that propels you forward, right? To continue to learn, to be the ever student, to be the ever, apprentice, trying to get closer to mastering not just one thing in your life, but a variety of things. So when I see this ram, I know that there is resolve here. I know that you will not give up, that you will continue moving. Now, I remember reading something about Capricorn people, and listen, this is all anecdotal, I'm pretty sure, probably. But I remember there was like a breakdown of people's signs, right? Solar signs we're talking about here, and longevity. Now, I feel that, well, I don't just feel, but I read, and I'm going to go ahead and internalize this as fact, even if it probably, it's, again, anecdotal, that Capricorn people do tend to live longer. Now, maybe it's not just solar, although the thing that I read was about solar Capricorns, but it could be, another major placement, of course. But there is a sense of never being done with the work, right? And so there is always something to continue on for, and there is longevity there. It's kind of like this, old cliche thing about when you retire, right? When you quit working and you kind of just go into the next phase of your life. And if you are not busy, if you are not out socializing or, getting yourself kind of really involved in something, in your projects and your hobbies, traveling, being with family, whatever it is, then people tend to pass away pretty suddenly or quickly after they've retired. If you have not set up a plan for yourself, how are you going to fill your hours if you are just kind of, isolated and sitting around, or, not staying cognitively active? That's the big thing, right? Is making sure that we're using our brains, we're problem solving, we're having a sufficient amount of stimuli and interaction. So, I feel like this is kind of the opposite of the nature of a Capricorn. Always staying busy. Now, does that mean that you're always moving quickly and, always like multitasking and your days are just stacked to the brim with things to do? Not necessarily, right? That's the other part of a Capricorn, is taking, things slowly where you really are focused. It's not that you aren't busy with it, but you are taking your time, okay? Doing things properly, right? Noticing the details, learning as you go, taking note of where things have gone awry, shifting, tinkering, all of that, right? And so absolutely feel that, yeah, you're in a place of power here. Yeah, you are. And we have those fiery energies. So I know that we are all revved up and ready to go, right? Okay, let's see. Now we have a guardian angel right here. Okay. Now I do feel that this has to do with an animal in your life. Okay. So maybe they have been ailing. Maybe this is even one of your companions, your animal companions, that has transcended already, right? They might already have gone, but there is a sense of being watched over by the divine. This is an animal that, I feel like is maybe like a soulmate to you. Somebody who, and I know, I say somebody about even our cats here. I will tell my daughter when she how these young kids, they just want to be so involved in the animals, playing with them and petting them and, trying to carry them and things like that. Well, the cats here, if you remember them they used to be in the readings quite often, Pudgy and Titi, well, they're older cats, especially Pudgy. He's, very elderly. He's 16 this year. And, you know, I don't like her to be too close to him too often. Now, if she's being calm and petting him, that's okay. But, you know, no getting too, you know, I don't know, laying too close to him or holding on to him too tight or whatever. I know I'm very protective and you know, but we have to be. So I forget where are we going with this? I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about the cats. But you know, we have our companions and we love them and we want them to have, you know, the best lives. And I feel like this is definitely an animal that you love so dearly, right? I feel that, and they are. Look at right here. You can see the hand of the angel touching the head here. And so I feel like this might be, you know, one of your soulmates. And I think, I don't know where I was going with that with the cats, but they are kind of my soulmates as well. And so I understand, you know, we absolutely, you know, I don't know. I pray for the animals of my life and, you know, animals that I see out in the world. And I'm sure that, you know, you have a fondness for them as well. You know, sometimes in our lives, the companions that we have that are furry or, you know, like TT, she's not furry at all. She's a hairless cat. But, you know, our I don't like to call them pets, but our companions, they're sometimes our only friends. They're sometimes the only ones that are there for us, the only ones that understand us. And they teach us unconditional love. They absolutely do. So, you know, I think that maybe this beautiful baby of yours has been ailing or maybe slowing down a little bit, or maybe they have transitioned already, but you think about them often. And I feel like this is really a confirmation from the universe telling me that they are loved and beloved. And I do feel, you know, if they haven't been doing well or seem like they have been having a rough time with their health, we have the number 7. So I do feel like there will be a turnaround here, right? There will be some ease in the difficulties. And so, you know, I think if you are a praying person, if you are somebody who does any kind of appeals or offerings, and here comes TT. She heard me talking about her. She ran from down or upstairs to come down here to meow in the hallway. You know, just make sure that you're saying an extra prayer for your little baby there, and I think all will be right. Okay, everything will be okay. It doesn't feel difficult in my mind. Now, of course, if it's an animal that has transitioned, that's always difficult. We still think about them years later. I know I do. And, but I do feel that there is an ease in knowing that they're still there, right? They're still around. Their essence is still around. I even imagine, you know, if this is a transitioned animal, that you still have some of their things, and you maybe even pull them out and look at them, and or have them displayed, okay? And they're always with you. They never leave us. So let's go ahead. We also have right over here, okay? So I'm looking at this as the home, okay? It is kind of rounded. It looks a little bit like a cave, but this is the doma style, the doma, right? This is our living space, our safe space, the place that we go to, you know, take off our human suits and, and spread out into spiritual beings. And I can imagine you just go home, you take off your hat, you take off your jacket, and unzip your human form and turn into that beautiful light body, right? And so anyways, I feel that over here we have kind of a little conflict. Okay, we have a person with their arms raised. We have another person over here kind of just listening. Okay. Now we also have a hummingbird. Okay. So this is all about being busy, multitasking, having the ability to, just get so much done so quickly, fast paced. So I feel like this is a person who, that has this really kind of busy energy. Okay. I immediately think of maybe like a Gemini person. It could be maybe even like a Virgo, or I don't even know what, like an Aries, maybe Leo, possibly, but a very quick energy, doing things, busy. Now, I feel like this is somewhat overwhelming for you at times, okay? I feel like this person can talk really loud, become very animated, maybe control or dominate the conversation, and you are, you love them. This is somebody who you care about. This is somebody, maybe you work with them. Maybe this is a family member. Maybe this is your spouse or child. But you care and respect them. You care for and respect them, and you are willing to endure a certain amount of listening and trying to be an active participant in the conversation, although it seems like maybe they talk over you a little bit. But I do feel like there's this kind of need for retreat, right? Like you're just waiting for the conversation to be over so you can say, okay, well, I gotta go now. Or, hey, I love you. I got other things to do right now, or whatever, right? And it's almost kind of, well, here in the Midwest, we call it a Midwest goodbye, where you say goodbye. You're at somebody's house, right? And you're sitting, you're talking, and you say, well, I suppose. And that means, okay, I'm going to get ready to get going here. And so then that starts to happen, and then it goes on for like 15 or 20 minutes, and you're wrapping up conversation. You stand up, and then you start to walk towards the door, and they get up and they follow you, and you're still talking, and then you're talking at the door, and the next thing you know, you're out there on the driveway, and you're talking in the driveway, and it's been 45 minutes, and then you get into your car, and you roll down your window, and they're still talking to you. They're walking next to your car as you're driving down the street trying to get to the freeway, and and it's just like a whole ordeal. But it's kind of just how people are here. Even I myself have I'm from California, so mine used to just be like, all right, I'm out, and you just leave. You don't have time to dilly-dally. But even I have become, in my 20 years of being in the Midwest, I've definitely maybe become a little bit of that person. And so I do feel like it's just this kind of energy of like, okay, that's enough. I've got to go for real this time. And it is. I feel like there's a retreat into your own space so that you can kind of recharge, right? Get that little recharge that you need. And I do. And I love this. This is a really strong looking house, right? So that tells me that you have really your domestic life in order, the way that you want it, right? This is a place that you love to go to. This is a place where, you have a sense of freedom to be yourself. It is not a place of conflict or feeling uncomfortable in your own space. Absolutely the opposite. I think you get halfway through your day, if you're somebody that works out in the world, right? Or, you have some reason to get up and leave the house and you're out all day or whatever. And you just, you think, oh, I can't wait to go home. I can't wait to, cook and do my little projects and maybe do a little cleaning and relax on the couch and watch my stories and, all of that stuff. And it's not, there's no sense of like, oh, I don't want to go home today, you know? So that's a wonderful feeling. And I even see over here, as I'm saying this, a little heart. So I do feel this is a very kind of even spiritual place, like a temple for you. You know, and not everybody has that. And maybe it is that you haven't had it before, but you have intentionally created this life where you have this place that you can be that feels, you know, like your own. That feels like you can just, like I said, take off that human suit. All right, let's see. Now, it looks like okay, so we have a bird perched right here. So there will be a message coming. We actually have two birds. So it looks like, and we have a third one right up here. So we have three messages. The birds indicate messages from spirit, messages from the beyond, our loved ones coming through. So three things will happen, or three messages will reach you. These will be revelations. They could be through dreams. They could be through synchronicities. But I do feel like we have, it looks like a peach. Oh, and a carrot. So I feel like, and who is this? I almost oddly think this is like a neighbor. Maybe somebody you grew up next to, or somebody that felt kind of like a mentor. It could be like somebody you knew from church, and I feel like they had a garden. And I wonder if you did not grow up with gardens. Maybe your family was, you know, everybody is working, or they weren't people that were really, you know, motivated in that way. They weren't interested in growing things or whatever. But I feel like there was this person in your life who did garden, had a garden, and it feels like it was, you know, a pretty substantial, or at least it felt like when you were young, right? Big and wondrous and full of things that you weren't used to seeing, and trying different vegetables and things. I almost wonder if this was like a person that watched you when you were a child, like you would go to their house during the summer, or something like this. But I feel like it was such a wholesome relationship. It was somebody who was very calm, right? And they spoke to you like you were a human being. Like you were, you know, not an adult. Like they weren't, you know, talking to you like about things they shouldn't have, or scary things, or, you know, things about the world that were terrifying, right? You know, they guarded you to some degree, as a parent would, or somebody who's a caretaker, or, you know, was mindful of what they said to children. And but I think that they spoke to you in a way that made you feel respected, not dismissed. Maybe that they listened to you and they really took in what you were saying, and they would talk to you in a way that wasn't just like, okay, I'm busy, just tell me real quick, and they only hear half of what you're saying. And, you know, as a parent, I sometimes am guilty of doing that with my daughter. You know, we all are. We all have moments where, you know, it's like, okay, tell me what you want to say. And then she tells me, and I only hear part of it because I am doing 50 things, right? And, but I also, you know, I know that when we have these kinds of people in our life who will get down on the level, right? Sit with you, look at you in the eye, or at least listen. And then respond in a way that you can tell, yeah, they heard me. They know what I'm talking about. They're understanding the context and all of that, right? And so I feel that this was something that really, I mean, it stuck with you, and I think it made you really know and want for a life that was calm, right? At least at home. You could come home to a place where things were a little more quiet, they're organized, you know where everything goes. I'm imagining like a shed or like a shop, right? Like maybe they did some kind of woodworking or something like this. And everything had its place. It was organized. It wasn't overcluttered. It wasn't like if you needed something, you absolutely couldn't find it, right? And so I think seeing this in contrast to maybe how your household growing up was, it really stuck with you. And I think that you yourself have taken on this kind of living, coming home and having a quieter place, having things in order, feeling at ease in that environment because it is not chaotic, right? It feels safe and warm and inspiring. It feels like a place that you have room to spread out and do the things that you want to do. You're also motivated to take care of it, okay? You know, and do the chores and put things away. And I feel like you really derive a lot of pride from even the way that you keep your life, you keep your house. You know, maybe it's not the cleanest house or the neatest house, but it's livable. It's something that it has an atmosphere that is inviting, okay? It feels, you know, just, I don't know, it like and I'm just imagining here. I'm feeling, the thing that I'm feeling from this is just, yeah, it feels like a lived in space, but it feels, I don't know, like there's just a glow to it. I don't know, like a light, like a beautiful morning sun, right? Kind of real warm and soft on the eyes. It's not rigid and cold or, you know, like super modern and a lot of like, you know, right angles and things like that. That's not the vibe. But also not super cluttered or anything, you know. So, yeah, I think that's important. It's something that you think about a lot. And I think you're very aware of the connection of having a space that feels overwhelming and how that affects your mental health, your spiritual health, and so on. Okay. So let's see. We have our divine doors. And I'm going to go ahead and flip through. We're going to stop where it feels right. Okay, and I'm going to flip it over. It says, a stranger's grace. Ego fears the sudden danger, but never underestimate the kindness of a loving stranger. Yes. I always am like, I don't know what to say about this one. I am so stranger danger. Like, I don't know. I adore people, I really do, but I don't like people coming into my life. My husband and I think one of the big reasons like we ever got on well in the beginning and to this day is that we're both very like, I don't know, we're just private and we're kind of solitary beings. And even him more so than he absolutely doesn't, you know, I think he has a great love and kindredness for people, but he doesn't trust them in real life. You know what I mean? So, and I'm a little more, I think, trusting, but I also just don't want people coming, you know, in our space. That's the big thing. So we've been working on it, but I think that's why we get along, because we're both like, okay, we can be cool with strangers out there in the world, you know, in these distant places, but then we have our own kingdom here. We have our own world, you know, for our family, and very few select people that we're close with. And I don't know, you know, so I vacillate with this idea of the stranger. But at the same time, you know, I would do pretty much anything I can for anybody, even if I don't know them. And that's just the way I was raised, you know. I remember one time, I know I'm going on, but it just came to mind. I remember one time my father, my biological father, who passed away when I was like 12, he was kind of a hippie dude. He was, you know, native. We're native on that side of the family. We're Choctaw. And he had this long black hair, and he was like kind of this real hippie dude. We're from Northern California, so he had that real kind of laid back vibe, very charming and charismatic, and just usually a pretty chill dude, for better or worse. But I remember one day we were up where he grew up, and the family had owned like a farm, like a orchard type of deal. It was out in the grasslands area, kind of in a valley, and during the summer it would get, you know, it would turn golden, and it was so dry, very hot, very dry. And we were driving down the road, and there was a family of a mother and 2 children, and the kids did not have shoes on. And this was during, you know, the 90s, and well, even maybe the late 80s. And so my dad, he stopped the car, you know, and my brother and I were with him, and I could hear him kind of, you know, talking to the lady and saying hi to the kids and stuff. And he came back to the car, and he said, "Here, give me your shoes." And he took my brother and I's shoes, and he gave them to this family. And you know, as a kid, I was like, "Those are my shoes. What are you doing?" But, you know, that's just the way that I grew up. You just did what you could for people. And, you know, it wasn't, I don't know. I won't go into the rest of my childhood. But there were moments like this where it was like very apparent to me that, you know, we're here to be here for each other. You know, even though I like to be alone more than anything, or be with my family, I still know that I have a place in this world, as we each do, you know, and we must be of service to one another. We must, you know that sometimes nobody has anything else. They have no other options. Sometimes it is the love and kindness of a stranger that gets us through. And so, you know, it's something to think about. It's something I need to meditate on more. I definitely have been trying. So this card hopefully in the future won't be as like, oh, okay, well. But anyways, I've gone on for too long now, Capricorn. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It's free to subscribe. And if you would like to leave a comment, please do. Okay, I read them all. They mean so much to me. And if this was your first time watching, or you're pretty new to the channel, let me know. I love hearing from you. So anyways, we'll talk again real soon. I love you. Take care of yourself. Good night.